Did you know Polaroid released a new compact photo printer a few months ago? No, me neither. I haven't been able to find much about the printer on YouTube, so I figured I'd do a quick review. Let's talk about it. Let's start with what's in the box. You get a printer, paper tray, power cable, quick start guide, and safety and compliance pamphlet. You don't get any paper or ink. Now let's look at the body of the printer. The printer is made of plastic, which is to be expected. The printer is made up of two pieces. You have the printer body, and then you have the photo paper tray. The front of the printer has this cool red accent, which I really like. I always love a pop of color. The front of the printer is also where you insert the paper tray. I'll talk more about the paper tray in a minute. On one side of the printer, you have the power button. On the other side of the printer, you have the door that you open to insert the printer cartridge. The back of the printer, from top to bottom, has what I'm assuming are holes to make sure that the printer doesn't overheat. To the side of the heat holes, you have the DC power port. And then below the heat holes, you have the slot that the paper comes out of. The paper tray is pretty straightforward. Like the printer body, the paper tray is made of plastic. The paper tray has a door that you open to add your printer paper. I like the fact that the paper tray has a door so you can keep your loose paper in the tray and not worry about it falling out or getting messed up. Also like that the paper tray door has the Polaroid icon on it. Overall, I think the printer body is fine, nothing too crazy. It's very simple. Literally, it just has an on and off button and slots. Like I mentioned earlier, this printer does use DC power. You must plug it into the wall if you want to use it. It comes with a power cable that is a decent length, so that gives you some flexibility about where you can place it when you want to print something. The printer is about 10.5 inches by 6.6 inches by 2.6 inches. The 10.5 inches measurement is if you attach the paper tray. The printer weighs about 2.23 pounds or 980 grams without the cartridge inserted or the paper. The cartridge isn't that heavy, neither is the paper, so they shouldn't add too much weight to the printer. The printing size of the paper is 4 inches by 6 inches, but the actual paper is a little bit larger. The paper does have perforated ends on the left and right side of the photo. I'm not quite sure why, maybe so you can easily grab the film as it comes out of the printer without directly touching the part with the ink on it to give it a few more seconds to dry, but honestly I don't know. If you guys know why, let me know in the comments below. If you remove the perforated edges, the photo is just a bit smaller than an actual, or I guess a standard 4x6 photo that you would get from say Walmart. The printer cartridge and the paper appears to only come in a box that contains 80 prints or 4 20 paper packs and 2 printer cartridges. This printer uses the same system as the Polaroid high print printer, which is a dye diffusion thermal transfer. In simple terms, the printer uses heat to transfer dye from the cartridge ribbon to the photo paper. You have to insert a cartridge into the printer. The photo prints in 4 layers: cyan, magenta, yellow, and a clear protective coating. It takes about 70 seconds for the printer to print out a finished photo. I think using this printer is really easy. You simply have to connect your printer to the app, allow the app to access your photos, and then you can print them. I'll talk more about the app next. Like I mentioned, there's an app for this printer. You have to use the Polaroid High Print mobile app if you want to print photos. As far as I can tell, there's no way to print from, say, a memory card or USB stick. The app can be found in both the Apple and Android App Store. At least from the Apple side of the house, the app is pretty straightforward. If you click on the printer icon at the top middle of the app, it gives you a step-by-step process on how to connect your printer to your phone. You can then select photos from your camera roll and print. I do like the fact that you can take a photo through the app and print that photo directly. If you click the My Prints icon in the bottom left corner of the app, you can see the photos you have previously printed and the date they were printed. Okay, now I want to talk about the print quality. After first use, I think the print quality is pretty good. Now I've only printed about 10 photos before I made this video, so keep that in mind. But again, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how the prints turned out. In order to compare, I ordered 10 prints of the same images from Walmart so I could see the quality difference between the two. I'm going to take a talking break and show y'all side-by-side comparisons of the photos. I won't tell you which is which until after. However, I do think the last photo comparison I show you will probably give it away. few differences between the two. I think the Polaroid printer prints a bit brighter than Walmart does. Here, I think you can see it with the Apollo sign. The brightness can lead to some more pronounced color delineation in like super blue skies or around thin wires or cables or branches. The Walmart photos look a bit more vivid to me, but I'm not sure if that's because the Polaroid looks a bit brighter. But yeah, those are kind of the main differences I see between the two, but things like sharpness and clarity seem pretty similar to me. Future Shay here. So one thing I've noticed is that when I printed the monochrome photos of the cross, the Walmart has more of a greenish tint while the Polaroid has more of a bluish tint. So it looks like the Polaroid may have a slightly cooler white balance, and then the tint for Walmart is more greenish than say magenta. So just something else I noticed. Now let's talk costs. So the printer is $149.99. I found it at Best Buy, but you can also find it on the Polaroid website. I don't see it on sites like BAH or Adorama, and you can technically order it from like Target or Amazon, but it looks like they're just the middleman for Polaroid. Like I mentioned, it looks like you can only order prints in a box of 80. The box costs $39.99, so that comes out to about 50 cents a print. Walmart charges 14 cents per print, so with the Polaroid, you're paying about 3.5 times more per print than if you printed at Walmart. Because I'm nosy, I decided to check out other potential locations I could get prints. So CVS charges 42 cents per print, up to 99 prints. Now that's closer to the cost of the Polaroid prints. Walgreens charges 39 per print, up to 99 photos. That's also closer to the Polaroid prints, but both are still cheaper than going with the Polaroid printer. Overall, I like this printer. It's easy to use and prints some good quality photos. I have two minor complaints, kind of based on my limited use. One, it's the printer cartridge. Polaroid says the cartridges are made from 99% recycled plastics. If I'm not mistaken, the cartridges can be recycled. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. However, I just wish there was a way to print without having to use the cartridges, or there was like a way to refill the cartridges so I didn't have to get new ones all the time. Now, I do appreciate that each cartridge can print 40 photos, so I don't have to switch out cartridges every time I use a new pack of film. My second complaint is that the printer doesn't come with any paper or print cartridges. Now, I'm not saying it has to come with 80, I'm not even saying it has to come with 20, but even just like a sample 10 pack and one cartridge would be great, instead of you having to spend, close to basically $150 plus another $40 to be able to print photos. And so you're spending close to $200 in order to print, your photos. So those are kind of my two minor complaints when dealing with this printer. You may be asking yourself, who is this printer for? That's a good question. Honestly, it's cheaper to print 80 photos at Walmart or CVS or Walgreens with like their 1 hour printing than printing 80 photos with this Polaroid printer. And if cost is a big deal to you, the printer may not be for you. However, if you don't have easy access to any of those type of places, or you want the convenience of being able to print decent quality photos on demand, then this printer may be for you. Also, if you just really love Polaroid and like to collect all things Polaroid, again, this might be for you. For me personally, I haven't decided if the cost of the printer and photo paper is worth it. Just straight looking at the cost of prints, I would say no. However, if you add on the costs of like time and money needed to go back and forth to the store for the prints, and the fact that, I'm trying to go to Walmart less, it might just be. I'm gonna keep playing around with the printer before I decide if I'm gonna keep it or not. But let me know what y'all think. Does this printer seem like a good deal? What do you think of the quality of the prints? Thanks for watching. I hope you found this simple review of the Polaroid 4x6 printer useful. If you want more photography content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to receive notifications of when I post new videos. I try to upload at least one video a week. Stay tuned for more fun photography content, and if there are any topics you want to see, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep practicing, keep having fun, and I'll see you in the next video.